as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
Summer in this city means concerts, and great concerts coming up that I know I am going to be at. And thanks to David Giles here, very popular person when it comes to concert time in Marbella. I know with us locals, David, we want to go to your concerts. You have some really cool concerts this summer, just two,
Yeah.
but two very good ones.
That's right, Nicole. This year, just two this summer because we just wanted two party bands this summer. We're going to do a bit more next year. We've got some big plans to bring things to Marbella.
Because it really does take a long time. You have to put these things like years in advance to get the acts that you bring in.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of competition this year, so we picked our spots, and we're bringing two bands that I think fit the Marbella type of party atmosphere in the summer. So we're bringing on UB40 to Estepona Bullring on Thursday the 16th of August, and 3 or 4 days later on Sunday the 19th at Puerto Romano Hotel Club de Tennis we bring Kool and the Gang back. We haven't had them here for 8 years, and they sold out last time, and it was a fantastic night out, good party night. UB40, it's their 40th anniversary, so we're quite excited about it. Ticket sales are going pretty good, so I think it's going to be two big nights.
It's lovely. Congratulations, because first bringing them over and also having that success on sales, because obviously with Starlight going on, as you say, there's a lot of competition not only getting bands in, but the events going on. But as you say, there is a very large community from the 80s that live here in Marbella, and I know that for me the difference of both venues highlights actually the events themselves. They suit perfectly Kool and the Gang,
Yeah.
because Puerto Romano is a very elegant evening, and it is a very intimate party feeling.
Correct.
When it gets going.
Yeah, and the Bullring vice versa. UB40 is much more of have a few beers and maybe another little thing to make the evening enjoyable for the reggae vibe, that type of thing. And they have great hits with Red Wine, Kingston Town. That'll be a party night. But at the Bullring there, we'll create a little bit of a different atmosphere. You know what I mean? Whereas you're right, Puerto Romano. This is the only concert of Puerto Romano this summer. We have exclusive to Puerto Romano anyway, so it's that will be a big night. And you're right, it's a very elegant, fun atmosphere when that place is rocking.
If you've never been to a concert at Puerto Romano, I can only highly recommend it, whether you like Kool and the Gang or you don't. The experience in itself, it's a bit like Wimbledon of concerts.
Yeah.
It's a very unique feeling that you don't get in any other venue. So it really is as I say, just for the venue itself, it's something quite a privilege.
And both these bands, they've both been around the world. Obviously Kool and the Gang, American artists from Birmingham in the main, with Jamaican roots. UB40 with Ali, Mickey and Astro, who are the main members of UB40. And the audience we get is very international. You know what I mean? There's a lot of nationalities here in Marbella now, from Scandinavians to
Moroccans. I mean, we have 140 plus nationalities.
Everyone from Russians to Americans to French to Italians. Everybody. It's quite a melting pot in Marbella, and we tend to get a good cross section of.
When did you land in Marbella?
I actually came here as a kid in my teens, but not only for a holiday. And I actually started producing events here in 2001 actually. 2001.
What was your first concert? Or your first
Gloria
event?
Gaynor was the first one at Puerto Romano, followed quickly by Blondie, Van Morrison, George Benson, I mean, I've done a lot of concerts there. I mean,
Was it because you wanted to meet these people? They were your heroes, or just how did you get involved in the music business in the first place?
I'd been involved in it many years before. I was partners with a guy called Ronnie Wood, who's the guitar player from the Rolling Stones, in a nightclub in Miami in the mid to late 80s.
And how did that come about?
By mistake. I bought a bit of property on South Beach, which was then sort of pretty derelict area of Miami, and I needed to get some cash flow going through it, so I opened a nightclub called Woodies on the Beach, and he lent his image and his promotional
What, did you contact him to do that, or you just happened to meet?
No, I contacted him. I knew his manager.
So you've always had that eye and the get up and go to just go after what you want, obviously.
I've always I've always enjoyed the music side of it, because obviously being English, growing up in the 60s and 50s for me as well, but the 60s when it was really swinging London, you loved that aspect of your life, it was great. So of course for me to then get involved a bit later and really get involved, which I have been for the better part of 30 years now, producing events all over the world, it's been a fun time. I have had a great time, love it.
Who's the most emblematic person you've got to meet through your exploits?
I've always liked Joe Cocker, who died 3 or 4 years ago. Joe, guy from Sheffield, a bit like my dad, was a plumber. So I really enjoyed his company because he had good stories. Joe's life pretty well documented about his issues with drink and drugs at one point. I mean, he was the first guy to play Woodstock, really, and was the superstar of Woodstock back in those days. A good fellow, I really liked him. Who else did I like? I mean, I liked quite a lot of them, actually. So, and
you're a lucky young man. You got to meet a lot of cool people.
Lucky old man.
Well, let's say you've had a lucky life.
Yeah.
It sounds in the sense of you've been able to follow your passions, work at what you like, which is a dream in itself.
Yeah, it is, actually.
And you now live here in Marbella, or do you travel a lot?
Actually, we've just moved here this year to take residence, so we're here now, and that's why next year I'll probably do a little more. Might do something in Palma as well, might do something up in Costa Brava, possibly do something in the Algarve, but we'll do more here. I've got 2 quite big plans. Actually, my daughter is in the business, but she's more in the younger side, the Latin hip-hop, which is very hot right now. She has a brand called Soulfrito. I'll spell that, Soulfrito.
Nothing like a proud daddy
No,
promoting his baby.
Go to soulfrito.com and you'll see what she does. She just had a sellout show in New York at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, 2 years running. We're contemplating bringing that to Malaga and to London, to tell you the truth. Latin music's very hot right now, particularly for the younger segments.
We'll have to save that for another day. We'd love to meet your daughter and know more about Soulfrito, but in the moment we're at Rock Lounge.
Oh yeah, rocklounge.com.
With David Giles, and you want to go to, Daddy's forgotten what he's talking about now. I'm talking about his baby. Rock Lounge, and you want to get your tickets for Puente Romano for Cool and the Gang and UB40 at the Bullring in Estepona.
Correct. So just go to www.rocklounge.com. Rocklounge.com. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, David. It's been a pleasure chatting with you again.
Always, darling.
Thank you.
Always. Thank you.
Hey, hey.
I'm here today to talk to you about forest fires. Forest fires are a terrible thing, as we all know. We have so much forest land here, we have so much green land here, which is green in winter, in autumn, in rainy seasons, but now that we're in the summer season, we're getting to the middle of August, it's the driest Spain can be. And that means forest fires are extremely dangerous and the forests are extremely vulnerable to them. Now, what can we do to prevent this? There are many ways that we can do this. We can stop littering in the forest when we go hiking with the family, when we're just even visiting. If we even throw anything out of the window on the autopista, on the highways, it can mean that this piece of trash, this piece of litter can start a forest fire. However weird it sounds, It's true. Just a piece of glass can reflect the sun so strongly that it can start a fire, and overnight, maybe even half of Marbella needs to be evacuated. I'm making it dramatic here, of course, but it's because it's that important. Starting a barbecue, of course, don't start fires in the forest. That's extremely dangerous, and I don't think I even need to say it. But even barbecues from your terrace, if you're having a nice barbecue, and if you live up in the mountains, or even if you live quite in the center, in the central part of Marbella, a little spark can make a big difference, can fly all the way into the forest. Remember, 95% of forest fires are started by human activity. So that's really how important it is that we stay conscious about what we're doing around these dry areas. And if you do see a fire, be sure to call 112 as fast as possible. So before the fire spreads, even if it's a little bush that's on fire, that can spread out and lose absolute control. And so 112 is the emergency number here in Marbella and around Europe, and it's the safest and quickest thing to do to get the starting fire under control. And even if it isn't a small fire, even if it is a big fire, just please let the right people know that there is a fire, and we have to do everything possible to keep where we live safe, and where all the holiday makers come to keep it safe and pleasant to live in.
Hello everyone, and welcome again to the little spot for AAA. Today I have with me a doggy which is not from AAA, and she's not for adoption. As many of you might not know, that Nicole King is a great animal lover and in great support of AAA. And this is her little doggy. This is Darling. Darling is already 13 years old. And one of the reasons that I would like to talk about Darling is because Darling is like a little working dog. Nicole is a dog lover, and she takes Darling wherever she can to her work. And that's very important for people who would like to adopt a dog, that yes, if you have a job, you can have a dog, as long as you know that the dog can come with you to work, which is possible, luckily, in Nicole's case. But in many offices, they will also allow a little doggy. If not, then you would have to make sure that if you have a dog, that there is somebody who can take care of it at least once or twice a day, depending on how many hours you are leaving your house or your place where the dog is. Dogs can, of course, be alone for a couple of hours, but it is never ever good or never pleasant for a dog to be alone for a whole day. It's not good, even though they can go in and out. Once in a while it's okay, but you cannot have a dog and have it alone most of the time, and only as a little playmate in the evening when you're there. It does happen, of course, but it's not a very nice thing for a dog to do. You wouldn't do that with your children, and therefore you wouldn't do that with your dogs. So little Darling is a little working companion with Nicole at the locations where she goes to and when she is in her office. So I would ask people, if you like to have a dog and you still have a job and you're doubting if it's possible, yes, it is possible. A working person can have a dog. Just make sure that it's either taken care of by somebody in the afternoon, or somebody who goes and visits it or takes it for a little walk while you're away, or take it to work. That would be a wonderful solution, of course. She's already 13 years old, which is quite old. At AAA we have quite a lot of old dogs. Sometimes people will bring the dogs to AAA when they're very old, because they're either old themselves and cannot no longer take care of the dog, which is a sad thing to do, because a dog that has been in a private home for many, many years to end up in a shelter is a very sad thing to see. I see it all the time. The dogs are really sad, they really feel it, and they don't really want to be there because it's a very scary experience for them. So if you're considering adopting a dog and you are a little bit older than very young, but you do have the time to take care of an older doggy, please come to AAA and adopt the dog of a little bit older, so that they have the last year or last few years still a loving home. They never need very much care, and very often the older dogs don't need to walk a lot. They just need loving care and a little bit of a walk outside, so once in a while. Of course, that also brings me to our next event, which will be the 18th of August. It's an international homeless dog, or homeless pet day, I should say. It will be honored by many countries, including us in Spain, and we will have the event here in the harbor, the Puerto Deportivo de Marbella, close by the restaurant where we are now. It will be an evening from 8 o'clock till about 11. We will have all kinds of information on the very, very important program of sterilization and neutering. We will tell people why it is important and how it's being done. Also, we have a lot of support from the veterinarians here in Marbella, and they are donating vouchers to help pay for the neutralization or sterilization of dogs and cats for the people who cannot afford it. It is definitely a good step in the right direction to start teaching people about sterilization and neutralization, because that is the only way we can stop the overpopulation of unwanted pets. So please join us on the 18th of August here in Deportivo, and we will have a candlelight vigil at 10:30. Everybody is welcome to come and light a candle for all the dogs that have been unnecessarily killed in the killing stations or the municipal pounds. So please come and join us. We have also fun there, of course. We have lots of beautiful balloons, and we love to see you there. Remember, don't shop, adopt. Thanks, darling.
So delighted to have our fabulous intern, Jere Johansson from Finland. Well, actually, he's from Marbella. It was a lower school since he was 3. He's now at university in the UK, but he's been joining us through the summer to help with the recording of Marbella now, and doing a great job with all his spots, and doing a few interviews as well. So well done, Jere, and thank you all for joining us on the programme. It's always a pleasure to be with you, share information about the city, how you can take part in all the things that are going on. And if you've got something to share with us, drop us a line. You can do that through our email, memarbellartvm@gmail.com, or via our website, marbellanowtv.com. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, and remember, pick up your free copy of the Euro Weekly News and check out my column, Marbella Moments.